Hi, welcome to the Sentas instructional video. This video will just show you how to put in a day's entries, which is somewhat fundamental to the usage of the app. So the way you do that is you press the plus button that's in the middle of the scroll bar at the bottom. When you go in there for the first time, it will show you some, just some background information on how to use the system. At the top you'll see that there's the date, that defaults to today's date. You can go in and put historic dates in, so for example in this case we'll put in some data for yesterday. You cannot do any future dates for obvious reasons. If you're in this screen and you want to amend something that has already been entered, you can again select the date that you want to amend and it will load up the previous scores that have been put in there. So if I put in yesterday's entry for me, I had quite a lot of fun yesterday, so I did a duathlon and then went out in London. So I'll put that in as an 8, which is pretty high. And because I was partaking in a race, I get a lot of my sense of purpose from sport. So I'll put that in as a 7. You do have the notes function that you can put in to effectively, use that as a journaling function. So what I'll say is I did the Eton Dorney duathlon when I learned to type properly, sorry. And that went pretty well. And I then went out with some friends in London. So that gives me the sort of highlights for the day. If I then go in to next, what that then is open up the variables that are in there that you can record on a daily basis to effectively show how things went. If there's any question that isn't applicable to you or you didn't do on that particular day, if you just ignore the question and not put any entry into it, the system won't record it, and that's the most effective way of basically just showing that you didn't do something. So I felt pretty good about my actions yesterday. I did help some people as well, so I was pretty good about that, and was true to my own standards. I had a very good work-life balance. I did some work on Sentas, but I spent quite a bit of time out and about as well. I did do some driving yesterday, so for me I'll put that down as being slightly lower than my norm. With regards to the environment, it was pretty stimulated and I wasn't lonely, so that was pretty good for me as well. To move to the next category, you can either press the next button down in the bottom right, or obviously in the bottom left you can go to the previous one and it will show you the variables that you have inserted. Alternatively, you can use the scroll bar at the top and scroll through different categories as well. So again, if I press the me one, it'll go back to the entrance that I've put in there, and if I want to amend one of those, I can do that accordingly. So I was pretty physically well yesterday. I was emotionally in a very good place. I did have a very early start, so I didn't have a particularly well rested sleep, but I was pretty much pain free. From relationships perspective, I didn't spend much time with my family yesterday, so spoke to them a little bit, but that was about it. Did spend quite a bit of time with my life partner. Spent some time with friends as well, so that was all good. I didn't have any time with my workmates or classmates, and I don't have any pets, so I'm not going to press that one, and it will ignore any answer that's there. From an activity side, I spent a lot of time outdoors, pretty much the entire day. Well, most of the day. I did spend some time on screens, but it was relatively little. Did have quite a bit of time in entertainment, but I did quite a bit of exercise as well. It made me feel pretty good, so again I put that in as an 8, and it was pretty challenging as well, so I put that in as a 7. I won't put in the sexual experience one because that's none of your business. I didn't work yesterday, so again, I'll ignore that one. I didn't make a non-recreational trip. I didn't worship, and I didn't participate in any of the other ones as well. I did listen to some music, so that was pretty good as well. As I press next, it'll go on to the external area. So, I didn't feel under any threat yesterday. I had no conflict at all. My relationship was pretty good yesterday. The weather was cold, so I'd put that in as a 4. It's hard to cycle when you can't feel your feet. I wasn't discriminated against in any way, and I felt I had enough money yesterday, so that was all good as well. Didn't do any celebration, wasn't on vacation, or wasn't affected by world events, and fundamentally had enough time. And lastly, if I move on to the intake question, I enjoyed my meals yesterday. That was pretty good. Went out to dinner, which was nice as well. My diet was pretty well balanced. I did go for a few drinks after the race. I didn't have any directed medicines, didn't have any recreational drugs, smoking, etc. I did have quite a lot of water, as you would expect in a race. And that pretty much is me putting in my entry for the day. And on your first entry, you'll get a little trophy to say, well done, you've got that off the mark. So you can then see, it's got the summary view in here. If you want to go in and look at some of the background views, the best way to do that is if you go in and select the individual date again. So you can select any particular date, but obviously I've just got 1 day's worth of information in there, and press done. You can effectively see the summary screen, and then you can see the individual scores that you've put in against each individual area as well. And that is how you put in a Sentas entry. If you have any questions or feedback, please reach out to us on Facebook at Sentas the app, or alternatively on Instagram at Sentas_the_app. Thank you very much.